The government of the Russian Federation is looking for those to blame for the breakdown of negotiations between dictator Vladimir Putin and US President Donald Trump in Budapest. The Kremlin placed the blame for this on the Russian Foreign Ministry, since the memorandum with its unrealistic and excessive demands, which sounded like an ultimatum, caused Trump's anger and the subsequent cancellation of the meeting. Lavrov has been named the main culprit. It was he whom the Western press called the main factor in the cooling of relations with the US. Several media outlets report that Lavrov came to the meeting with Secretary of State Marco Rubio unprepared, refused to engage in discussion, and took an overly hardline stance on Ukraine, trying to follow the Kremlin's instructions to the letter. According to the Telegram channel Nexta, insiders say that Lavrov received a severe reprimand from Putin. The head of the Russian Foreign Ministry was almost accused of sabotage, since under no circumstances was he supposed to disrupt the summit. Amid the scandals, Kirill Dmitriev flew to the US in an attempt to ease attention. Journalist Rostislav Mirzagilov shared insider information from the Kremlin about Lavrov's fate. Putin is seriously considering the option of dismissing the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Russian Federation as soon as the intensity of Russia's aggressive actions against Ukraine decreases.
When he gets removed, Putin will start looking for someone to blame. That's typical for him. So, accordingly, Lavrov is the perfect scapegoat. He has said a lot of nasty things. He has cursed at the Russian Federation's international partners.
On October 16th, US President Donald Trump announced that he intended to hold a meeting with Putin in Hungary. He did not announce the date of the summit, but noted that talks between the foreign ministers were planned beforehand. Already on October 22nd, Trump stated that he had canceled the summit with Putin. On the same day, the US Treasury Department imposed sanctions against Russian oil companies, Rosneft and Lukoil. Soon after, Trump stated that he would not meet with Putin or waste his time until there was an understanding about reaching a peace agreement between Ukraine and the Russian Federation.
Russian dictator Vladimir Putin could be arrested if he flies to the summit in Hungary through Polish airspace. As reported by Reuters, this was stated by Polish Foreign Minister Radosław Sikorski. He noted that in this case, Poland might be forced to execute the international arrest warrant.
I cannot guarantee that an independent Polish court would not order the government to escort such a plane in order to hand the suspect over to the court in The Hague.
Thus, the International Criminal Court's warrant obliges member states to arrest Putin if he sets foot on their territory. Sikorski added that the Russian side is aware of this, and therefore the plane will likely take alternative routes. At the same time, in order to avoid flying over Ukraine, the Russian delegation would have to pass through the airspace of at least one European Union country, all of which are members of the International Criminal Court. According to Politico, some European leaders want to be present at the meeting between the Russian dictator Vladimir Putin and US President Donald Trump. Furthermore, according to the publication, the EU insists that if the meeting in Budapest takes place, Ukraine must be at the table. Otherwise, the West risks ending up with peace on the aggressor country's terms, the article notes. Meanwhile, the head of Russia's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Sergei Lavrov, rejected Trump's idea of freezing the war along the front line. In particular, he made it clear that Moscow is not ready for an immediate ceasefire in Ukraine. Lavrov stated that Russia remains fully committed to the formula for achieving a long-term peace and that an immediate ceasefire allegedly would not lead to anything. It should be noted that on October 16th, Donald Trump announced that he plans to meet with Putin in Budapest to discuss the possibility of ending the war. The meeting could take place next week.